قال المصنف رحمه الله, said the author Abu Shuja', may Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon him, ويستحب الإنصات في حال الخطبة. It is recommended to listen attentively during the speech, the Friday speech. الشرح, the explanation. هل يحرم الكلام وقت الخطبة? Is it forbidden to speak at the time of the khutbah? فيه قولان, there are two sayings about it. أحدهما ونص عليه الشافعي في القديم. One of those two, and this is what Ash-Shafi'i had documented in his old school, because you know Ash-Shafi'i had two madhabs, his old madhab and his new madhab. According to his old school, أنه يحرم, that it's forbidden to speak during the khutbah. So that's a saying. لِقَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى, due to the saying of Allah Ta'ala, وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا. When the Quran is recited, then listen to it and pay attention. قال أكثر المفسرين. So you might say, okay, what does that have to do with the khutbah? We're talking about the khutbah here. If the Quran is recited, or when the Quran is recited, then listen to it and pay attention. I thought we were talking about the khutbah. قال أكثر المفسرين. Most of the Quran interpreters said, نزلت في الخطبة. This verse was revealed about the khutbah. وسميت الخطبة قرآنا لاشتمالها على القرآن الذي يتلى فيها. In this verse, the speech, the Friday speech was called the Quran because it contains Quran. وَلِقَوْلِهِ, and also there's another proof that was offered to say that speaking during the khutbah is haram. That the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إذا قلت لصاحبك يوم الجمعة والإمام يخطب أنصت. If you said to your friend on Friday while the Imam is delivering the speech, listen, yani, be quiet. فَقَدْ لَغَوْتَ, then you have committed laghu. وَاللَّغْوُ الْإِثْمُ, and laghu here is a sin. Yani, according to that explanation. وَالْجَدِيد, and the new saying of Ash-Shafi'i, which is the reliable one, this is the stronger saying, أن الكلام ليس بحرام, is that talking during the khutbah is not haram. وَالْإِنصَاتُ sunnah, and paying attention is recommended, not obligatory. وَهُوَ السُّكُوتُ مَعَ الْإِصْغَاءِ, this means being silent with attentiveness. لِمَا رَوَاهُ الشَّيْخَانِ, and this other saying, which is the stronger saying, it's proven by what was narrated by the two sheikhs. أن عثمان دخل وعمر يخطب, that Uthman came in while Umar was giving the khutbah. فقال عمر, so Umar said, ما بال رجال يتأخرون عن النداء, what's wrong with some people who come after the call for prayer? فقال عثمان, so then Uthman said, يا أمير المؤمنين, O Prince of Believers, ما زدت حين سمعت النداء أن توضأت. When I heard the call, I didn't do anything more than make wudu. Yani, he spoke to him. وروي أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم دخل عليه رجل. And also it was reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a man came in وهو يخطب يوم الجمعة, while the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was delivering the speech of Friday. فقال متى الساعة. So that man said, when will judgment day be? فأومأ الناس إليه بالسكوت. So the people were signaling to him to stop talking without saying to him, stop talking. Like the hadith we just read. So if someone's talking during the khutbah, don't say to him verbally, stop talking, because then you're going to lose your own reward. Signal to him. فَلَمْ يَفْعَلْ. But he didn't listen to them. وَأَعَادَ الْكَلَامِ. And he repeated himself. فَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ لَهُ بَعْدَ الثَّانِيَةِ. And so the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him after the second time, وَيْحَكْ, woe is you, مَا أَعَدْتَ لَهَا, what have you prepared for it? قَالَ حُبُّ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. He said, the love of God and His Messenger, meaning for, the love for God and His Messenger. فَقَالَ إِنَّكَ مَعَ مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you shall be with whom you love. رواه البيهقي بإسناد صحيح. Al-Bayhaqi reported that with an authentic chain. ووجه الدلالة أنه عليه الصلاة والسلام لم ينكر عليه ذلك. And the point of evidence is that the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam did not object to the man. وَلَوْ كَانَ حَرَامًا لَأَنْكَرَهُ. And had it been forbidden, he would have objected to him. وَيَجُوزُ الْكَلَامُ قَبْلَ الشُّرُوعِ فِي الْخُطْبَةِ. It is permissible to talk before the khutbah starts. وَبَعْدَ الْفَرَاغِ مِنْهَا وَبَعْدَ الْفَرَاغِ مِنْهَا وَقَبْلَ الصَّلَاةِ. And it is permissible to talk after the khutbah is done and before the prayer. And also between the two khutbahs. What exactly is going to make you lose your reward is to speak while the imam is speaking. That includes saying Ameen. And any dhikr, you don't make dhikr during the khutbah as long as you can hear the imam. If you can hear the imam, then don't speak. If you can't hear the imam, like you're far away and he doesn't have a microphone, then you can make dhikr. Don't say Ameen while the imam is giving the khutbah. And unless he leaves a space for you to be able to say it. Like if he said a dua and then he paused, so you could say Ameen. And then he said a dua and then he paused. But what you want to do is not speak while the imam is speaking. Except if he mentions the name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his name Muhammad, not the word prophet, not the word messenger. If he says Muhammad, then you may say, even if the imam is speaking, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What an honor Allah gave to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam. ثم هذا في الكلام الذي لا يتعلق به غرض مهم ناجز. And furthermore, this concerns the talk that's not immediately important. فأما إذا رأى أعمى يقع في بئر. But if one saw a blind man about to fall into a well, أو عقربا تدب على إنسان, or he saw a scorpion. He saw a scorpion creeping towards someone. فأنذره, and so he warned him. Yani, watch out, there's a scorpion there. فلا يحرم بلا خلاف, then this is not forbidden with no difference in opinion. وكذا لو أمر بمعروف أو نهى عن منكر. Also, if there were some good that he had to command or evil that he had to forbid, فإنه لا يحرم قطعا, then for sure that's not forbidden. وقد نص على ذلك الشافعي واتفق عليه الأصحاب. Ash-Shafi'i documented that, and all of the mujtahids in the madhab agree. What about saying iqamat as-salah? So that's going to be after the khutbah is done. You can't do it while the imam's still giving the khutbah. قال المصنف رحمه الله, said the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, ومن دخل والإمام يخطب صلى ركعتين خفيفتين ثم يجلس. And anyone who enters while the imam is delivering the speech, then he prays 2 light rak'ahs and then sits. And this is concerning a masjid, not a musalla. A lot of people need to know that. Because the norm of Muslims, like, even if it's just a musalla, when they come into the khutbah to pray 2 rak'ahs and then to sit, and their intention is tahiyatul masjid, saluting the masjid. And it's the habit of some of those Muslims, if they ever enter, not just for Jumu'ah, they will do tahiyatul masjid, 2 rak'ahs for saluting the masjid. But that's for a masjid, not for a musalla. So if it's musalla, there's no tahiyyah for it. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're on a college campus and the Muslim community there has a room assigned for them. So that's where they do their meetings and they pray together and things like that. So is that a masjid? No, it's not a masjid. It's musalla, for example. So if someone walks in there, he doesn't say, let me pray tahiyatul masjid here in our room assigned to us by the university administration. No, there's no tahiyatul masjid here. It's not a masjid. Okay, that's clear. But what if it's an entire building? It looks like a masjid, but really it's a musalla. Then has the same rule as that room that was assigned to you by the university administration. It's not a masjid. You don't pray tahiyatul masjid in a musalla. So that means, ever. So that means that on Friday here, let's refocus back to Friday. That means that if it's a musalla, you're just going to come in and sit down. Not pray to, just come in and sit down. We talk about the imams giving the khutbah. Of course, if you came in early and you want to pray, you can pray. But not tahiyatul masjid, not with that intention, if it's a musalla. And even if the imam is just sitting, he didn't start his khutbah yet, he went up on the minbar and he sat down, and then you came in. Then right here, if that's a masjid, pray 2 light rak'ahs and sit down. If it's not a masjid, just sit down. 2 light rak'ahs means don't go long. These 2 rak'ahs in the masjid, while the imam is giving the khutbah because you came in a little bit late, that's what the messenger gave permission for, so don't do more than 2 and don't make them long. Ash-sharhu, the explanation, إذا حضر شخص والإمام يخطب. When a person comes in while the imam is delivering the speech, لم يتخطى رقاب الناس. He doesn't step over people's shoulders, bringing his feet up to the level of their necks and faces. لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم من تخطى رقاب الناس يوم الجمعة اتخذ جسرا إلى جهنم. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever steps over the people's necks, meaning he steps over their shoulders, bringing his foot at the level of their necks and their faces. Then on Judgment Day, whoever does that on Friday, says Yamul Jumu'ah, whoever does that on Friday, ittakhadha jisran ila jahannam, he has taken a bridge to hell. And when we say that he doesn't do this, we're talking about something harmful to the people. Not something that's not harmful, just the fact he might need to step past them. Maybe he needs to lift his foot a little bit, for example, or scoot past them somehow without bothering them or harming them. It's not haram. We're talking about what I said to you. He raises his feet up, he's bringing his knee up and bringing his foot up, and now his foot is over someone's shoulder at the level of his neck and face. Then when this bothers the Muslims, then that's haram. Rawahu Tirmidhi. That hadith about taking a bridge to hell is narrated by At-Tirmidhi. وَيُسْتَثْنَى مِنْ ذَلِكَ الْإِمَامِ. And the Imam, though, is excluded from this. وَمِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ. The Imam is excluded from this. He has the permission to step in this way, because he needs to get to the mimbar. So it's not haram for him. And also because the norm is that the people would be loving the Imam. So when that foot is next to his neck and face, and he's about to get angry, and then he turns and looks, he sees the Shaykh. He says, oh, ahlan wa sahlan Shaykh. Barakallahu feek. No problem. وَمَنْ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ فُرْجَةٌ وَلَا طَرِيقَ إِلَيْهَا إِلَّا بِالتَّخَطِّي. Also excluded from this is someone who has an opening, a gap in front of him. He wants to get there to a gap, an opening, so he can sit down in it. But there's no way for him to get to it unless he does such stepping over the people. Then this is not haram لأنهم قصروا لأنهم قصروا بعدم سدها, because those people in the audience, they fell short for not filling that gap if they don't want someone stepping over them like that. ثم الداخل هل يصلي التحية. Now furthermore, the one who comes in, does he pray salute to the masjid? اختلف العلماء في ذلك. The scholars differed about that. وقال الشافعي والإمام أحمد إنه يستحب أن يصلي تحية المسجد ركعتين خفيفتين. Ash-Shafi'i and Ahmad both said it's recommended for the one who comes in after the Imam has gone up and sat down or started his speech to pray 2 light rak'ahs with the intention of saluting the masjid. وَيُكْرَهُ أَنْ يَجْلِسَ قَبْلَ أَنْ يُصَلِّيَهُمَا. And it's disliked, according to them, for him to sit without praying those 2 rak'ahs. وَاحْتَجَّ هَؤُلَاءِ بِقَوْلِ النَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. Those two, Ash-Shafi'i and Ahmad, and whoever said what they say, their evidence was what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لِسُلَيْكٍ حِينَ جَاءَ وَالنَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ يَخْطُبُ يَوْمَ الْجُمُعَةِ. That the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Sulaik when he came while the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was delivering the Friday speech. وَقَدْ جَلَسَ. And then he sat down immediately. So the Prophet said, As-sallayta ya fulan? Have you prayed so and so? Qala la. He said no. Qala qum farka'. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, get up and pray. Get up and make ruku'. It means pray. وفي رواية قم فصلي ركعتين فصلي الركعتين. And according to another narration, the Prophet told him, get up and pray the 2 rak'ahs. وفي رواية صلي ركعتين. And according to another narration, pray 2 rak'ahs. So the one before is saying, get up and pray the 2 rak'ahs. And then this one is just saying, pray 2 rak'ahs, not the. Pray 2 rak'ahs. وفي رواية, and according to another version, إذا جاء أحدكم يوم الجمعة وقد خرج الإمام فليصلي ركعتين. When one of you came to Jumu'ah and the Imam already came out, then let him pray 2 rak'ahs, this latecomer. وفي رواية, and in another version, وَالْإِمَامُ يَخْطُبُ. If he came while the Imam is giving the speech, فَلْيَرْكَعْ رَكْعَتَيْن. Then let him pray 2 rak'ahs. وَلْيَتَجَوَّزْ فِيهِمَا. And let him keep them brief. وَهَذِهِ الرِّوَايَاتُ كُلُّهَا في صحيح Muslim. All of these narrations are in Muslim's authentic book. قال النووي. النووي said, وهذه الأحاديث كلها صريحة في الدلالة لمذهب الشافعي وأحمد. These hadiths, all of them are explicit in proving the way of Ash-Shafi'i and Ahmad. وقول الشيخ ومن دخل والإمام يخطب يقتضي أن الحاضر لا يفتتح صلاة. And when the Shaykh Abu Shuja' said, anyone who came in while the Imam is delivering the speech, so that's what he said. Anyone who came in while the Imam is delivering the speech, this statement dictates that anyone who was already present, he's not a latecomer. He was there, for example, before the Imam came out, and he's sitting already, for example. Then this one does not initiate a prayer. The 2 rak'ahs we've been talking about is for someone who came in late. وَالَّذِي ذَكَرَهُ النَّوَوِيُّ فِي شَرْحِ الْمُهَذَّبِ أَنَّهُ حَرَامٌ. Before that, وَلَمْ يُبَيِّنْ أَنَّهُ مَكْرُوهٌ أَمْ لَا. So that's what the author Abu Shuja' said. He said, anyone who came in while the Imam is already giving the khutbah. So he's not talking about someone who was there before that. But he didn't clarify whether it's disliked or what. What's the judgment of it? He said, if I came in late and the Imam is speaking, I just sit down. If it's musalla, not masjid. If it's masjid, pray 2 rak'ahs. وَالَّذِي ذَكَرَهُ النَّوَوِيُّ فِي شَرْحِ الْمُهَذَّبِ أَنَّهُ حَرَامٌ. And that which An-Nawawi mentioned in the explanation of Al-Muhadhab is that for the one who was already there before the Imam came in, and then the Imam started giving the khutbah, for him to stand up and pray is haram. وَلَفْظُهُ, and the wording of An-Nawawi is, قَالَ أَصْحَابُنَا, the mujtahids of our madhab said, إِذَا جَلَسَ الْإِمَامُ عَلَى الْمِنْبَرِ حَرُمَ عَلَى من في المسجد أن يبتدئ صلاة وإن كان في صلاة خففها والله أعلم. An-Nawawi said, the mujtahids of our madhab said, when the imam sits on the pulpit, it is forbidden for whoever is in the masjid already to initiate a prayer, even a make-up prayer. And if someone is already praying when the imam comes in, then let him shorten those, let him lighten those, means let him now get those done. And Allah knows best. Intaha, end quote. وَهَذِهِ مَسْأَلَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, and this is a nice case. قَلَّ مَنْ يَعْرِفُهَا عَلَى وَجْهِهَا, there are few who know it properly. فَيَنْبَغِي الْإِعْتِنَاءُ بِهَا, so it's important to adhere to take care of this case. ولا يغتر بفعل ضعفاء الطلبة وجهلة المتصوفة, and let the Muslim not be deceived by the weak students, and let him not be deceived by the ignorant Sufis, those who display Sufism but they're ignorant. فَإِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَتَلَاعَبُ بِصُوفِيَّةِ زَمَانِنَا, for indeed, the devil plays with the Sufis of our time. They're not like the ones of old time. كَتَلَاعُبِ الصِّبْيَانِ بِالْكُرَةِ, just like children play with a ball. وَأَكْثَرُهُمْ صَدَّهُمْ عَنِ الْعِلْمِ مَشَقَّةُ الطَّلَبِ فَاسْتَدْرَجَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانِ, and most of those Sufis these days have been blocked from the knowledge. They have been blocked from seeking. The process of seeking the knowledge was difficult for them. فَاسْتَدْرَجَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانِ, so the devil lured them. Means what we're saying here is, you are now learning correct knowledge, so implement your knowledge and do not be deceived by the others around you. And don't put your knowledge to the side because the others don't have the knowledge. If you were somewhere and people, let's say it's a musalla, so you know the rule, and then people come in and they don't know the rule, so they do something. What are you going to do? Adhere to your knowledge. وقال السيد الجليل ضرار بن عمرو, the great master Dirar ibn Amr said, إن قوما تركوا العلم ومجالسة العلماء, indeed there were some folks who left out the knowledge and they left out sitting with the scholars. واتخذوا محاريب, and they took some mihrabs, like they took some mihrabs as a hangout spot. وصلوا وصاموا, and then they would pray and they would fast. حتى يبس جلد أحدهم على عظمه, and they would be like that until one of them, it looks like he turns decrepit. خالفوا فهلكوا, they have gone the wrong way, and so they were doomed. The wrong way is they didn't take the time to learn. وَالَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ غَيْرُهُ مَا عَمِلَ عَامِلٌ عَلَى جَهْلٍ إِلَّا كَانَ مَا يُفْسِدُ أَكْثَرَ مِمَّا يُصْلِحُ. He said, and I swear by the one whom there's no God but him. No practicer practiced in ignorance, but that what he ruined is more than what he fixed. Wallahu a'lam, and Allah knows best.